Good winter day, fellow observers. Today we're going to test for the first time version 13.2.7. We're going to do a target test. It's going to be a 24-minute drive, 7.3 miles. Let me activate FSD. Okay, so we are parked, but we are by the hydrant. But I just parked just to simulate a parking scenario, and also good stop there though. Also how FSD will respond to that. So now we are out and about and we are turning right here on stop, and I have to be very careful here. Okay, blind spot, not so much of a risk because I can see a lot, and good pause here and good pause for the second time, and good slowdown here for this human who's going to this SUV, I mean this small car. So we are crossing an all-way here now. And as you can see, we have snow that is, I think, still on the light side, but let's see how FSD will respond to it. Now we have a green light. I am not sure if we'll make this one. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, we won't make it. Okay, now we have a green light, but there are still oncoming cars that are turning, and now we have a cone here. And let's see, okay, there is a bit of an obstacle there, but it doesn't look like a cone, but it's good that FSD is adjusting to it. Now we're crossing an all-way. Okay, that was a good cross, that was an easy one. And we have another one here. Okay, good. Now there's a human on the right side and going into a car. Okay, I think that was enough. FSD has enough space. Now let me just check if my GPS is muted.
In 500 feet,
okay, no.
Turn left onto 209th Street.
Now we are at an all-way. Now the truck should be moving first, but because there was a crossing human and a dog, I think FSD
now turn left
took advantage.
onto 209th Street.
And so we make a left here. Okay. Now in these cases, I'm very careful because FSD sometimes slows down but continues to advance slowly. But if an SUV or a car continues to back up, then there's a potential there for a collision. So sometimes I disengage
now
in those
turn
scenarios.
right onto Northern Boulevard.
But this time it is not warranted to my estimation, so I just let it be. And now we are making a right here on stop. Now there is an oncoming SUV here and another car, and we should be good after this. Alright, that's good. Oh, so
in
we
500
are
feet, turn left onto Clearview Expressway.
okay, we are on the chill version, but I'm making it now to a standard. So this still counts as standard, although we had a few minutes of chill driving. So we are on a green light, but FSD is not moving forward because there's nothing to move forward to, because we're just gonna block the intersection. Alright, now we have a red light. Okay, now we have a green light. FSD is not advancing. Okay, now it is.
Now turn left onto Clearview Expressway.
Now we have a green arrow.
Now take the Interstate 295 South ramp on the left.
Okay, so now we are merging here. Okay, there's the window. Okay, good. Okay, so I have to take over immediately. Okay, so autopilot aborted for camera visibility. So I think weather conditions are not gonna let me drive. I mean, have FSD activated. So let me try again.
In 1,000 feet, take exit 4EW on the right onto Interstate 495 toward Long Island Expressway.
Okay, so I'm still driving on my own. And front camera blocked or blinded.
Now take exit 4EW on the right.
And let's see.
In 500 feet, take exit 4W on the right onto Interstate 495 West. Now take exit 4W on the right.
So there is a long front camera blocked or blinded issue here. Yeah, it's not available. Okay, so now the issue disappeared for front camera. Okay, so now there is poor weather detected notice. Okay, good lane change here. Now we are testing FSD here with conditions that are not ideal conditions. So my foot is always on the brake. Okay, so now it disappeared. I would say though that I think there was one version in version 12 where it is very sensitive towards poor weather conditions and it always shows it even if it's a light drizzle. But right now, even though there is a bit of snow falling, FSD is not complaining frequently. So this is the first time actually, and now it disappeared at this point. Okay, so I have to take over again. Now I'm gonna give it a few seconds before I refresh this. I mean, I reactivate. Okay, so I don't think it's a good sign. Front camera is blinded again, but now it disappeared. Now let me just try one more time here. Okay, so there's a visibility issue here. So I guess I'm just driving on my own for the majority of the trip. But again, this is also a good reference for testing FSD, or I mean using FSD on this kind of weather conditions. So I think the limit for this one is that if the front camera is blocked, then that's about it. That's game over for FSD, and it will ask you to take over. Now I'm gonna try again. Okay, my foot is on the brake pedal. But interesting that FSD is not complaining of poor weather conditions. But it asked me to take over again.
In 1 mile, take exit 19 on the right toward Queens Blvd.
Okay, so I was driving for a bit, and now let me reactivate again. Okay, good slowdown here. I think FSD should make a lane change at this point. Okay, so it turned on the turn signal, but there is no room here. Okay, good. It's advancing and now merging. Okay, that is reasonable given the traffic condition. And now we move to the next lane on the right. Okay, good.
Now take exit 19 on the right.
So now we have exited. I think FSD will move to the right lane. Just not sure when. Okay, it's good that it sees the lanes, the lines. It's able to at least kind of fill in the blanks here. Okay, so now we have a window. Good slowdown here because the van right in front
In 500 feet, take the ramp on the right toward Queens Blvd. Now take the ramp on the right toward Queens Blvd.
Okay, so we have a flashing yellow. FSD is able to move to the left side. Okay, good. Now we are on stop, and we do have a window here, so it's good. Okay, it's good. FSD is moving to the left lane. I think it kind of inferred that the right lane might be slower because there's a vehicle that's loading a passenger, I think. Now we continue to advance here. It's going back to the right lane.
In 500 feet, turn right onto 56th Avenue. Then your destination will be on the left.
Okay, so I have to press the accelerator here because I think it thinks that it has a red light, but there's no light there. So I have to press the accelerator. So now we are at the proper red light. And we have a green. Okay, so we are moving to the left lane. And good adjustment here by FSD. And so we are close to our destination. And I'm not sure why is this not advancing. So I'm gonna press accelerator again. I think it thinks that these cars are about to move, but turns out no.
Now turn right onto 56th Avenue.
Okay, so I almost disengaged, but I pressed accelerator first, and it was able to veer back to the left lane as it was about to go to the right lane. So now we are turning right, and we are at the destination.
Now your destination is on the left.
So I will just disengage here. Okay, so, and give my takeaways. Now, this test is a unique test because of the weather condition, and I think this is the baseline for finding out if FSD will still work in this kind of scenario. Now, I would think that the highway drive has a much higher probability of, what do you call this? Of
now
FSD,
your destination is on the left.
Of FSD not working because I think the camera gets blocked easily because of the speed. I'm not so sure, but that's what I observed. Once we got to the street driving, it was not an issue for the most part. So just want to highlight some things. We started off from a parked state, and FSD was able to back up and then advance, move out. It was able to make a right on stop. and then actually adjusted to the light that was turning red. It slowed down. Sometimes FSD actually tries to beat it and I have to disengage, but this time no, it was good. And it crossed several all-ways and it was able to adjust on that. Now there is a what do you call this, there's a time that I think it adjusted to an all-way where there was a truck that pours salt, and it was the truck's right of way, but then there was a human that was crossing on right in front of that truck, and so FSD kind of took advantage of that and just moved forward. And then we turned left towards the street to, I think, 299th Street or something. It's the street before making a right to Northern Boulevard. FSD was able to find a window there. There were two cars that were passing and FSD turned after that. And then I realized that we were on the chill mode and I switched to standard. And so I just realized at that point. After that, we went to the left turn lane, but FSD didn't really cross on the first green because of the traffic ahead, because it doesn't want to block the intersection. Then we went for the second green and FSD advanced and turned left eventually and found the Clearview Expressway ramp, and it was able to merge. But then this was the highway drive now, and several times FSD asked for, well, I think for one time on Clearview that it asked for me to take over because the camera was blocked, and then I tried to reactivate it again, but then it wouldn't let me, so I drove manually up until the merge to I-495 Long Island Expressway. So FSD on merge to I-495 has a better visibility, and so I tried to activate and it did activate, and then it stayed for the most part on the left, middle lane. But during the LIE drive, there were multiple times that FSD asked for me to intervene and take over. And so that's something that if you are using FSD on this kind of weather condition, there is a limit to how much it will drive you. So that's something of an FYI, and especially on highway drives. And so after that, there were times that I tried to activate, but FSD wouldn't let me. And then once we were close to the exit to Queens Blvd, so it's kind of transitioning now a bit to the street driving and the speeds are slower. FSD was able to regain visibility, and FSD was able to actually make 2 lane changes to the rightmost lane, exited towards Queens Blvd, made a lane change to the right lane, and then took the ramp towards Queens Blvd and went to the left side of a 1 wide lane, and then made a right on stop to Queens Blvd. And so at that point, FSD was a bit on a stable side because we were running at slower speeds, and I think FSD's camera is able to function properly. After that, FSD went to the left lane after making a right to Queens Blvd as an adjustment, I think, because the right lane had a van, I do think, that is loading a passenger. So FSD kind of saw that, and the car right in front actually is going to the left lane as well. I think FSD is looking for cues for what the cars ahead are doing. I'm just not sure on that, but if you're certain, please let me know through the comments below. And then we went straight ahead. I thought FSD is gonna stay to the left lane, but it went to the right lane and then stopped at an awkward spot where a light is for the vehicles turning right. But I pressed the accelerator there because FSD is stopping at a time where it shouldn't be. And in a prior version too, FSD did this, so I don't think it's a weather condition related thing. So I pressed the accelerator, FSD moved forward and adjusted to the cars that were double parked. Actually, there's no parking there, but cars do. And FSD went to the left lane and moved forward. Now we are close to the destination at that point, but I think FSD thinks that the parked cars are actually going to turn right. So on the green, it kind of wants to go to the right lane again, but we're not at the destination, and I know that the cars there on the right lane were parked. I was about to disengage, but I pressed the accelerator first, and so FSD kind of canceled that move towards the right lane and moved forward. Happened I think one more time until it was able, and then I pressed the accelerator, and then it actually made a right turn to the correct street from the left lane. So I think that's part of the adjustment, especially here on Queens Blvd. There's a lot of things that's going on, and that has unique rules. So I think FSD was able to find its was able to find the correct path with the help of human intervention, which is a pedal press. So those are all my takeaways, and you know, the weather conditions are different than my usual testing, so there's a lot of human interventions, but it was not because I had to do it myself, but more so that FSD asked me to do it. And then of course there were some pedal presses, so that doesn't count. I mean, that count as the usual human interventions, but a lot of interventions were because of the weather, and FSD asked for me to do it. So those are all my takeaways for this test, and if you find this video helpful or of value, please like and subscribe.